and it offers coaching for UPSC, State Public Service Commission, SSC CGL, and CLAT examinations. So please do visit AKSIS Academy, which is one of the premier institutions in India. And about me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Thumala, and my credentials are: I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations and internal security and analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session will definitely help you to crack prelims as well as mains examinations, because throughout the session I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases which are very important for the prelims as well as mains point of view. So I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases. Keywords and the key phrases throughout my session I would be emphasizing, and these keywords and the key phrases through which we will identify the factual, analytical, and also the conceptual questions which are certainly important for preliminary examinations. So therefore you will have an edge over others in regards to the prelims examinations, and in regards to the mains examination, the keywords and the key phrases which I would be emphasizing throughout my lecture, it will be useful for you in regards to the answer writing, because answer writing is the main key to score higher marks in the mains examinations. So definitely your answers should be precise and concise, and once your answers are precise and concise, so definitely you will be scoring high marks in the mains. That is, you will have an edge over others. So definitely my session will help you in regards to cracking prelims and mains, both in regards to the 2020 as well as 2021. And today's session is in regards to the daily news analysis, that is today's 7th of August 2020, the Hindu Daily News Analysis DNA. And I would reiterate and re-emphasize my tagline, that is emphasizing throughout my lecture, throughout my lecture, the keywords and the key phrases which will be certainly helpful for you to score higher marks in prelims and mains examinations. And also you will be comfortable in the interview. And before I get into the topic, I would say a very good morning to you all, the one who is in the live and also in the live chat. Rahul, Nandita, Ashwini, Ravi Kumar, Praveen Kumar, Jarsingi Hanu, I think it's a first class. Welcome to AKSIS Academy, Jarsingi Hanu, David Paul, Dees, Suvarna, Sujan Kasturi, everyone, very good morning to you all. And Harika Yadav has also joined, very good morning to you. And the quote of the day is, people begin to become successful. People begin to become successful the minute they decide to be. So what is important is that you need to have a mindset. You need to program your mind. You need to program your mind. And you need to have a mindset that you will succeed. So definitely people who begin to become successful, who thinks that they would be successful the minute they decide to be. So definitely whenever you are deciding that you would be successful, no doubt you will be successful. That means you need to have a dream, and you need to have a mindset for the dream, and you need to achieve, you need to believe, then success will definitely follow. So that is what the quote of the day is. People begin to become successful the minute they decide to be. So what is important is you need to decide that you would be successful, and definitely you will be successful. And before I get into the topic, Ashok, Satish, Sawa, Santa Sawa, Usharani, Azmat Khan, Mohammed, all very good morning to you all. Welcome to AKSIS Academy Daily News Analysis by Sandeep Bhushan Thumala. And the news which we would get into is the RBI keeps policy rates unchanged. So what we need to look at is the keyword in this is monetary policy. So this is a keyword which we need to focus in regards to that, because it is a monetary policy which decides or which takes in regards to the how the rates have to be changed. I mean, what is the whether these rates are repo rates or reverse repo rate. So these two are the mechanism or the measures, or these two are the rates which are the mechanism or the measures which the RBI through the monetary policy, RBI through the monetary policy make sure that it will put a check or it will try to contain the inflation. Please do understand. So the keywords here are monetary policy, the rates, that is repo rates, reverse repo rate, and these are the measures, repo rate and reverse repo rate, and you have others, cash resource ratio, SLR, MLR, all that. But what is very important here for the discussion is the reverse repo rate and repo rate, which are the measures or the mechanism which are being used by the RBI through the monetary policy to contain or to make sure that the inflation is under control and it is not rising. So definitely the RBI has gone ahead with the monetary policy reviving, and it has kept the policy rates unchanged. This is very important. So it has kept the policy rates unchanged. So what is repo rate? It is the rate at which the RBI lends money to the banks, to the nationalized banks. So reverse repo rate is what? RBI borrows money from the nationalized banks. Please do understand. See, repo rate is what? The RBI lending money to the banks. The RBI lending money to the banks in a given particular rate, that is the percentage. That is what it is. Here it is the RBI is lending money to the nationalized banks. Reverse repo rate is RBI is borrowing money from the nationalized bank. So when does this happen? This is repo rate, that is RBI lends money when there is shortage of money with the banks or in the market. And when does this reverse repo rate comes into action? When there is more, that is there is excess of money. There is excess of money or liquidity in the banks or with the banks or in the market. Then the reverse repo rate is taken into consideration, and then they will go ahead with the change of rates percentage. But here in this case, the RBI has not changed. It has kept the policy rates unchanged in the face of rising inflation pressure, because the inflation is rising. What do you mean by inflation? That means the prices of commodities, especially vegetables or the pulses or the fruits, are rising. So when the inflation is rising, so definitely the policy rates, that is repo rates, reverse repo rate, cash resource ratio, SLRs, all these have been kept unchanged. This is very important, unchanged. And it is definitely keeping it view, that is RBI is definitely into the mode that there would be economic recovery. So RBI is saying that there will be certainly economic recovery. There would be certainly economic recovery, and it will happen at least in the second quarter, of 2020 and 2021. So the financial year of 2020 and 2021, in the second quarter, the RBI is expecting the economic recovery to take place in India, and it says that RBI says that the way the economic condition in India is the worst peacetime health and economic crisis of the 100 years. You can take this key phrase and write it in your book. It says the RBI has said the worst peacetime health and economic crisis of the last 100 years. So RBI is saying that, or RBI has said in regards to the economic crisis. RBI has made a statement in regards to the economic crisis. Please do understand, these keyword are the phrases, key phrase is you need to consider is because you never know, it could be part of your question in the mains. So it is the, what RBI said is, it is the worst peacetime health and economic crisis in the last 100 years. So that means in the last 100 years, India hasn't seen such a economic crisis. What we are experiencing it, not only India, the entire globe, because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. So here, what is that we will focus here is that, what do you mean by peacetime? What do you mean by peacetime? What is peacetime? Because until unless you understand peacetime, then you will not understand what does it mean. So peacetime is, it is peace, that is, there is calmness. So what does it mean? A time when a nation is not at war. That means there is no war, but still there is economic crisis. Please do understand, because of the World War I, we have experienced World War II, the globe or the entire world has experienced the economic crisis, or the crisis and economic, making sure that the entire economy was dwindled down or shattered, and that was because of the world wars we have seen. But now there is no warlike situation. There is no warlike situation. Worst peacetime. Peacetime in the sense, a time when the nation or the entire globe is not at a war, but still economic crisis is there. Economic crisis we are experiencing. So that is what RBI is mentioning. And also RBI has mentioned about moratorium. What do you mean by moratorium? Moratorium means postponement or ban of loan repayment. So in the month of March, April, when the national lockdown has taken place, so many of them could not repay the loans. So the central bank, the RBI or the finance ministry and the RBI has come up with the concept called as moratorium. What is moratorium? It is postponement of the loans, just postponement. And what is the deadline for it? August 31st. And what the RBI says is, it is not going to change the date. So the deadline, it did not extend the moratorium. That means the moratorium period will be only up till August 31st. Only up to August 31st. That means the one who cannot repay the loan have been given a time up till August 31st. They need not pay. After that, they have to make the loan repayment. That is what it says. And it allowed to restructure loans. This is very important. Restructure loans. So what are the RBI has come up is, the first one, RBI has kept the unchanged. What unchanged? The policy rates. Please do understand, these are very important. Policy rates the RBI has kept unchanged for the first, and the second is, it did not extend the moratorium, and which is ending on August 31st, or else the last date is August 31st. And it has also said that banks can allow the restructuring of loans. So what do you mean by restructuring? That means the banks can go ahead with making sure that the one, for example, the large corporates or the micro, small and medium enterprises or the individuals who are unable to repay the loans, they can extend it. That means these people, the large companies, micro, small and medium enterprises and the individuals, that is business individuals who are unable to pay the loan, unable to repay. So if they are unable to repay, what will happen? They will be a defaulters. Please do understand. If they are unable to repay, that is the large corporates, micro, small and medium enterprises or individuals. I am talking of the business people or the entrepreneurs. Fine. So if they are unable to repay the loans, so they would be a defaulters and they would be as a non-performing assets. So to overcome or to move out of this defaulters and the non-performing assets, the central bank has given or come up with the restructuring or restructure of loans. So this is very important. Restructure is what? The banks can make sure that the large corporates, micro, small and medium enterprises and the entrepreneurs will be given some time to repay the loans, so that they will not be a defaulters or a non-performing assets. So what is the important one is, monetary policy here, policy rates are unchanged, and then it is a worst peacetime health and economic crisis of the last 100 years, and the moratorium is not extended, and the RBI or the Apex Bank has allowed the banks to restructure loans to large corporates, MSMEs and the entrepreneurs. These are very, very important in regards to the economy point of view. In regards to the economy point of view, this is very important for prelims point of view. For prelims point of view, the definition of restructured loans, moratorium, and then policy rates unchanged. And then before I get into the next slide, Stravani, very good morning. Pujita, MY, very good morning. Madhu, DV Prasad, very good morning to you all. Madhu, Ashwini Kumar, Madhava, very good morning. And Ashwini Kumar has said that, sir, with the same rates for last 2 to 3 months, we should also consider how the performance is and then would understand how it helps the coming months. Please clarify. Okay. So definitely when the policy rates are unchanged, that means what the government or what the RBI has done is, in regards to the repo rates and the reverse repo rates, the RBI has cut short the basis point. So what it has done is, the RBI has gone ahead with infusing liquidity. This is for the doubt of Ashwini Ravikumar. NPA, non-performing assets. Yeah, infusing liquidity. That means they wanted to pump money. What do you mean by infusing liquidity? That is, they wanted to pump money into the market, that is through the banks. So now because the rising inflation pressure, that means the prices are increasing. So when the prices are increasing, that means if the RBI goes ahead with change in the repo rates or reverse repo rates, that means if they are pumping more money into the liquidity, it is also a concern. If they are, what do you say, sucking the money, in the sense taking away the liquidity, that is through reverse repo rate, or increasing the policy rates of the repo rate and the reverse repo rate. So if that is taken up, then what is happening? There is less of money. When there is less of money, then the prices, when the prices are increasing, then it would create to a lot of concern. So that is why the policy rates are unchanged, to make sure that the inflation will not rise, and then the people will have sufficient liquidity with them. The banks and the people will have sufficient money with them. That is what it is, Ashwini Ravikumar. And what will happen is, again, if the RBI will definitely keep on checking the liquidity, in the market. Whenever there is more liquidity, then it will suck the money. Whenever it is less of liquidity, it will pump the money. Whenever the liquidity is less. Whenever the liquidity, that is more money, it will suck the. So how that is done? By the policy rates. And for now, they have felt that the liquidity is at a balance rate, that is not high, not low, but slowly the inflation is rising. So then after a couple of months, they would also take any stock of the situation, and then they would decide whether the policy rates have to be increased or unchanged or decreased. Fine. Ashwini Kumar, I think you understood it. Madhu says, but it can also go ahead with the increase in RRR, such inflation can be contained. Yes, the policy rates are taken into consideration. That is what I said. If it is required, they'll pump the liquidity money. If it is required, they will suck the liquidity. And this restructuring efforts, what I said, is to the decision of the banks, that is the nationalized banks. It is to the nationalized banks. The RBI has given the entire structuring efforts to it has left to the banks. What do you mean by restructuring? That means whenever there is unable to repay the loan because of the financial stress by the borrower, so that the borrower will not become a defaulter and he will not become a non-performing asset. So to overcome that, the restructuring efforts are being taken up by the RBI, and that is left to the decision of the banks. Again, this is very important for prelims in regards to the definitions. Prelims point of view, definitions. These are very important. Moratorium, restructuring, all these are very important. And because the incomes and the jobs are hit because of the national lockdown, or else because of the not much of economic activity which is taking place because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, what the RBI has done is it has allowed the banks to restructure individual borrowers. So restructuring was for the large corporates, small and medium enterprises, micro, small and medium enterprises, and entrepreneurs. Not only for that, but also for the individual borrowers. Please do understand, restructuring of the loans is for the large corporates, micro, small and medium enterprises, entrepreneurs, and also to the individual borrowers. And this will be maximum for a loan tenure of 2 years. And what the RBI has also spoken about the GDP is that it will contract. That means it will be minus in the year 2020-21. But there is a possibility that it might increase in the second quarter. So we would expect at least in the second and third quarter, there could be an positive trend in regards to the GDP. So this is what the RBI has taken, and this is very, very important news for prelims as well as especially for prelims and the mains point of view. How the RBI is actually taking measures or the mechanism to make sure that it is trying to overcome the shocks of the COVID-19 pandemic situation because of the national lockdown. And if you look at it, policy prescription. So it is a prescription, not a doctor's, but a RBI's prescription. Shaktikanta Dasa, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Dasa has given a policy prescription. What is that? We have looked at. So restructuring for the large corporates, that is the stressed one, or the MSMEs, and even to the individual borrowers, and no extension for the moratorium, the last date beyond August 31st, and borrowing limits against gold has also been relaxed. And the personal loans, as I said, for the personal individual borrowers also, the restructuring of the loans has been taken up for extended up to 2 years. 2 years, this is important. And there is been support for the national housing banks and NABARD. National Housing Bank and NABARD of 10,000 crores. So this is again very important for the micro, small and medium enterprises. So startups including priority sector loans, priority sector lending norms. So you have the startups which are now part of the priority sector lending loans. So these are all very, very important policy prescriptions which have been put forth by the RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das, by making sure that the policy rates are unchanged. Restructuring of loans has been taken up for the individual, large corporates, micro, small and medium enterprises and entrepreneurs, and no extension of the moratorium, and then the 10,000 crores of support to the NHB, that is National Housing Bank, and then the NABARD, and the startups have been included in the priority sector lending norms. And there is another news which talks about Manoj Sinha appointed as Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor. So we have looked at this news, not exactly, but related to this, we have looked at yesterday. That is Murmu, the former. Today when we are talking, is the former Lieutenant Governor of the Jammu and Kashmir. So we have seen yesterday that he has been resigned because of the controversies. 2 reasons: because of he wanted to restore the 4G internet services in the valley, he was supporting it, and the other one was he was also meddling in the election, in the polls. That is, he was talking about the delimitation processes in the election. So because of these 2 controversies, he has resigned it. That is GC Murmu, and former IAS officer has resigned. And then now who is the one? That is Manoj Sinha. That yesterday Madhu has actually said this. Manoj Sinha will be the next Lieutenant Governor. And yes, Manoj Sinha is the former Minister of State for Railways and Communication. Former. And now he is appointed as the Lieutenant Governor. And he has been MP for 3 terms. and in 2019 he has lost the elections. He has lost the elections in 2019, and now Murmu is appointed as the Comptroller General of India, CAG. So who is the CAG now? It is not Raju Maharshi. It is not Raju Maharshi, but for prelims point of view, Murmu is the Comptroller Auditor of General, and Manoj Sinha. And Manoj Sinha is the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir. These are very important for the prelims point of view, current affairs prelims point of view. And Mr. Sinha is what? Now Mr. Sinha is the third Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir. Third Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir. And before that, that is now we see Manoj Sinha, before that Murmu, and then prior to that, before that, it was Satyapal Malik. So these are very important for prelims point of view. So first Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, I am saying Jammu and Kashmir, not the Union Territory. Jammu and Kashmir, first when I am saying, when the Jammu and Kashmir has come under central rule. So when the Jammu and Kashmir has come under the central rule, when Jammu and Kashmir has come under the central rule, so the first Lieutenant Governor was Satyapal, and then when the Jammu and Kashmir was as declared as the Union Territory, so then the first Lieutenant Governor of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir was Murmu, and now it is Manoj Sinha. And the Jammu and Kashmir has 87 member assembly seats. 87 assembly seats. So these are all very, very important for prelims point of view. And Srilata Yeluri has joined. Very good morning to you and welcome to AKSIS Academy, that is daily news analysis by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan. And there is another news which talks about India rejects China's UNSC move on Kashmir. So the United Nations Security Council is a keyword here. So the keyword, that is United Nations Security Council. Here what is happening is China is prompting the United Nations Security Council to discuss. So China is prompting what? To discuss. Discuss what? The Kashmir issue. Is to discuss the Kashmir issue. So why is China doing it? So definitely we know that China is also really interested in the Kashmir, because as China is or has gone ahead with the CPEC, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is passing through the POK, that is Gilgit and Baltistan, fine. And then when it is passing through the Gilgit and Baltistan, and now recently, that is after the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Amendment Act 2020, we have seen that Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have been separated as two union territories, and now because of that, and then the government of India has come up in the month of November a new map which is showing the entire Gilgit and Baltistan, that is the POK and Ladakh, or else Aksai Chin, POK and Aksai Chin as the integral part of India. November 2019, the government of India has come up with a new map, that is Survey of India. Survey of India has come up with a new map which it shows the POK, that is Gilgit and Baltistan and Aksai Chin region, which is part of the integral part of Jammu and Kashmir, that is the POK, that is Gilgit and Baltistan, and Aksai Chin part of the Ladakh area. So definitely that is a concern which China has, and China is definitely prompting the Kashmir issue to be discussed in the or at the United Nations Security Council, and for that India is firmly rejecting the initiative taken by the China, that it is reiterating Kashmir as a domestic issue. Who is saying that? India is saying. India says the Kashmir is a domestic issue. So when it is a domestic issue, it should not be raised in the United Nations Security Council. And when it is a domestic issue, it will be resolved bilaterally if it is anything between India and Pakistan. But China is definitely going ahead with that, prompting the United Nations Security Council to discuss the Kashmir issues in the closed door. And then India has firmly rejected the Chinese initiative. And it says that it is our internal affairs. It is an internal affairs that we know how to resolve the issue between India and Pakistan, or else in regards to the how we need to resolve the Kashmir issue. So India has given a very strong message to China that definitely it is an internal issue and we are not an internal issue or a domestic issue, and we will not allow, or we are not really happy the way China is prompting the United Nations Security Council to discuss the Kashmir issue in a closed door. And it has come up at the time of the first anniversary of the dilution or the abrogation of Article 370. And this is not the first time. It has also raised the issue, that is in the last year August 16, 2019 also. China has raised this issue in the United Nations Security Council on August 16 also. That is when it was trying to review the India-Pakistan question. So there was a debate or a issue which was raised in the UNSC, that was in regards to the India-Pakistan question at UNSC in the month of August 16, 2019. So it is not the first time. So August 2016, 2019, and also again, if you look at August, now the first week, that is August 6th, also we have seen 2020, China is again making sure that it wanted to discuss the Kashmir issue. And this, that is the Kashmir issue, was last figured. This is again very important for the prelims point of view. The Kashmir issue was last figured in the United Nations, or else at the Council, United Nations Security Council, it was figured or it was discussed, the issue, before the India-Pakistan 1971. So it was discussed before 1971 itself, and after that there was no discussion on the Kashmir issue in the United Nations Security Council. So this is again very important for prelims point of view, the way China is trying to always create hurdles against India at the United Nations. And Srilata Eluri, Mahesh Nayak, Ramkumar, Sivamurthy have all joined. A very good morning to you and welcome to AKSIS Academy Daily News Analysis by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan Tumar. And there is another news which talks about India's COVID-19 cases crosses 2 million. So this is again a cause of concern, because it was on July 17th it has crossed 1 million, and again it is on August 6th, now it is 2 million. So in a span of just 23-25 days, close to 1 month, just within 3 weeks, 1 million cases have been spiked. So that is the concern. And then the confirmed cases has crossed 2 million. So when we are talking about 2 millions, 2,25,197 cases, that is the confirmed cases in India have touched, and the daily rise is now 61,996 infection. So this was somewhere around 30, 40,000, 50,000, and then 50,000 it has crossed, and now the daily infected cases are 61,996. That is why within just 3 weeks 1 million has touched. And the death tally, if you look at in the entire country, the death tally is 641,649 cases. So the death tally, this is infectious cases per day, this is daily, on daily basis, and this is infectious cases across India till now, across India. So 61,000 are infection cases which are happening at a daily basis, and then the overall death tally in India is 41,649. And if you look at the recovery rate is 67.62. So this is a positive one which we are actually experiencing this. So the recovery rate, that means the one who have been infected by the virus but recovered is 67%. But if you look at the last 3 weeks, the cases of the infection cases are increasing and daily infection cases are 61,996. This is the area of concern, and the good news is the recovery rate is increasing, and the total recovery is 13.2 lakh. Total recovery cases, not recovery rate. Recovery cases are 13.2 lakhs. That means 10 lakhs is equal to 1 million. So 20 lakhs, 2 million. So in the 20 lakhs, 13.2 lakhs are recovered. That is why it is 67.62%. And the case fatality rate is 2.70. That means, what do you mean by case fatality rate? That means the infected or the one who have been infected and who are positive, who have been positive infected, that is positive cases, and one who have been positive because of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, and then who have been death caused because of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. That case fatality rate is 2.07%. So what is very important here that you need to focus for the prelims point of view is the keywords. What are the keywords? That the confirmed COVID-19 cases, and then the number of infectious cases daily, and the death tally, and the recovery rate, and the total recovery cases 13.2 lakh, and then case fatality rate. So the confirmed COVID-19 cases, and then in regards to the daily infections cases, and then in regards to the death tally, and then the other one is in regards to recovery rate, and then total recoveries, and then case fatality rate. These are the keywords. All these are the keywords which you need to focus for the basic information, which could be part of the prelims point of view in regards to the science and technology. Prelims point of view in regards to science and technology. And there is a mention by the WHO here that the Southeast Asian countries have to definitely maintain. Please do understand, this is again very important for prelims, as well as mains point of view. So you can write this, you can mention these points in the mains answer, these short notes. You can take it as a short note. So the WHO has made it very clear to the member countries of Southeast Asian countries plus India. Please do understand, Southeast Asian countries plus India, that it wanted these countries to maintain the essential health services. It wanted to maintain the essential health services, and it also wanted the Southeast Asian countries and India to accelerate, that is increase what? The disrupted services, that is health services. And this both has to be an integral part of COVID-19 response force. Very, very important keywords I am giving. You can directly take it as a short note for the mains examination. So what the WHO is cautioning or asking the Southeast Asian member countries and also India to maintain the essential health services. Not only that, the second one is to accelerate, that is increase the resumption, that is increase the what was disrupted services, what the services, that is the health services which were disrupted because of the pandemic situation, they have to increase. And both these are the integral part of the COVID-19 response force. So what are the integral part of the COVID-19 response force? That is in regards to the maintaining essential health services and to accelerate the disrupted services because of the COVID-19. That is a pandemic situation. And it also very clearly stressed that there is a strain. Strain in the sense there is a negative impact on the health system in Southeast Asian region. This is very important in regards to the mains point of view. In regards to the mains point of view, it is very important. I am saying it because the probability of question could be asked not only in regards to focusing on India, but India plus Southeast Asian countries. India plus Southeast Asian countries, there would be a possibility the UPSC might frame a question taking into consideration of COVID-19 pandemic situation or the strain of the health system of India and also the Southeast Asian countries. So here when we are talking about, it is the migrant crisis, health crisis and the economic crisis of India together with Southeast Asian countries. This is very important. You need to focus the entire, as civil servant aspirant, you need to look at the migrant crisis, health crisis, economic crisis, or else further even humanitarian crisis in India plus Southeast Asian countries. So there is a possibility that the UPSC might frame the question both India together Southeast Asian countries, and that is what WHO is also focusing or wanting to the Southeast Asian countries to focus on the essential health services, health system, and then accelerate the disrupted services which are part of the integral part of the COVID-19 response. So the Southeast Asian countries are 11 members. You can see Bangladesh, Bhutan, Democratic Republic of Korea, India, Indonesia, Maldives, Myanmar, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, Thailand, and East Timor. So these are all very important for prelims, even from geography map based. Inflation to stay elevated. So this is again in regards to the economy, which again we will focus little bit of inflation, which we have just touched upon it the first topic. So the keyword here again is the word that is inflation. So the RBI has made it very clear that as we discussed that the GDP will shrink in 2021, but there could be a possibility that in the third quarter, fourth quarter of the 2020-21 and further in the first two quarters of 2021 and 2022, in the first two quarters of 2021 and 2022, there will be a probability that the GDP, that is the country's GDP, will progress. It will progress, and RBI is hopeful of easing the inflation in the second half of 2021. So it is very clearly RBI is saying that the inflation, RBI is saying that inflation will definitely ease in the sense it will come to a balanced one in the second quarter of 2020 and 21. But if you are looking at the GDP will shrink. It will be in the negative. It will be negative in 2020 and 21, but it will increase, that it will be positive in the 2021 and 2022. Please do understand, inflation will ease. That means it will be a balanced one in the 2020. That is in the second half. That is second half when I am talking about. That is the third and fourth quarter. That is the third and fourth quarter, second half of 2020 and 2021. There is a possibility that the inflation might ease in the sense it will stabilize inflation, and the GDP will definitely be contracting. That means it will be in minus, negative in the financial year 2020-21, but it will be, the GDP will increase. That is, it will be a positive trend in the 2021 and 2022 fiscal or the financial year. And the headline inflation had gone up from 5.8. Headline inflation has gone up from 5.8% to 6.1%. So definitely the inflation is increasing. That is what the RBI says. It is hopeful that the inflation will ease. That means inflation will reduce. Now it is actually increasing. Inflation has gone up from 5.8% to 6.1% in the month of June, and it is hopeful that inflation will reduce in the second half. When we are talking about second half, that is the third and fourth quarter. That is the third and fourth quarter of, that is, if we are looking at October, November, December of 2020, and then January, February and March of 2021. These are third and fourth quarter of 2020-2021. So third quarter is October, November, December of 2020 and January, February, March of 2021. RBI says the inflation will reduce and the GDP will progress. It will have positive in the 2021 and 2022. Why? Because inflation will ease in the fourth quarter of, or else in the fourth quarter of 2020-21, and because of the good monsoon and a bumper kharif season or bumper kharif crop. So what are the other one wherein the inflation will ease? Inflation will ease because of the good monsoon. These are all reasons. Please do understand, when you know the reasons, you are conceptually strong. Only then your answers in the mains will be very, very precise. That is what I am saying, the keywords. When you know the keywords, so definitely your conceptual ideas will be perfect, and then you will be to the point, precise and concise in the mains answer. That is why you can score higher marks in the mains and you will be in the top 100 or top 50 or top 10. And because of the bumper kharif crop. So these are the two reasons why the inflation might ease plus the GDP might progress, and it might ease the prices of the food prices because the Indians are very much focused on the protein based food items. Indians now, they are very much focused on the protein based food items and vegetables. That is why the prices are increasing, and that is why the inflation is popping up. And the Monetary Policy Committee is definitely looking at the economic activity. It is focusing on the economic activity. RBI is focusing on economic activity, and it says that these economic activities have actually increased. That means it was positive. It was positive when? It was positive from April to May month. It was positive from the April to May month, but it has again slowly decreased because of, because the imports decrease in the month of June. Decrease in the month of June because the reason is imports have fallen. Imports have fallen sharply because of, again, why imports have fallen? Because of the weak domestic demand and low crude oil prices. See, these are all reasons you need to understand. That is why I am saying conceptually you need to be very strong. What the Monetary Policy Committee is noting, or it is emphasizing, that is the RBI. Through the RBI, what the MPC is saying, that the economic activity it is closely monitoring, and it says the economic activity is recovering, and it has recovered in the month of April and May because of unlock in various cities and states. But again in the month of June, there is a decrease. That is because of the sharp fall in the imports. Why the imports have fallen down? Because of weak domestic demand. And low crude oil prices. These are the two reasons why the economic activity has decreased and why the economic activity has increased. So this concept you need to understand. And the decision to hold was correct as trajectory. That means why the RBI has why the RBI has not changed the policy rates. Why the RBI has not changed the policy rates? Because the trajectory, that is the path of the economic growth, the inflation and the external demand, not internal, not domestic, external demand, all these are uncertain. The economic growth, inflation, external demand, as all the three are uncertain, it was uncertain, so the RBI has kept the policy rates unchanged. So Ashwini Ravikumar, you will have a better understanding now with this point how we can actually study this. So RBI has looked at, or it has kept the decision to hold, what to hold? The policy rates was correct. Why it was correct? Because as the trajectory, as the trajectory of the graph of the economic growth of the country, the inflation in the country and the external demand are uncertain. So when they are uncertain, so the RBI through the Monetary Policy Committee has decided not to change the policy rates. Now I think Ashwini Kumar and everyone have understood why the RBI has not or kept the policy rates unchanged. So these are all the conceptual understanding, and this is what you need to get into the mode. Conceptual understanding is very important, wherein you will be very perfect, very confident in regards to the prelims and also mains while writing your answer in the mains also. So for the economy point of view, for prelims, the conceptual understandings are very important. Why the RBI through the Monetary Policy Committee have kept the policy rates unchanged, and the RBI's calibrated approach. So this approach, again you can take this as a keyword. The RBI's calibrated approach is in consonance, that is, it is in tandem, it is in coordination with the evolving situation while keeping enough headroom for future. So that is looking at the trajectory of all this which are uncertain. So the RBI is taking calibrated approach. That means it is a cautioned approach. It is a RBI's cautioned approach in regards to inflation. So there is lot of conceptual understanding in today's economy, what we have discussed, the first topic and the last topic. Please do understand. And Mahesh has joined. Very good morning to you, Mahesh Shivamurthy. Very good morning to you. Welcome to AKSIS Academy. That is Daily News Analysis. And look at it. I said here the headline inflation. So again this is a keyword. And this is again very important for prelims point of view in regards to the definitions. So what is headline inflation? It is a raw inflation figure reported through. So headline inflation is reported by the Consumer Price Index, which is monthly, and this is been released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Please do understand, these are all very important for prelims point of view, because many of them, this keyword headline inflation, they will skip it, but there will be always a possibility that the UPSC will try to focus on the one which the many of the civil servant aspirant will skip. Fine. And here, what is the other keywords what we are trying to again find out in the headline inflation is Consumer Price Index, and which this Consumer Price Index, it is an index figures which has been released monthly by Bureau of Labor Statistics. So again, two keywords we have found out in the headline inflation, and this CPI, that is the consumer price index, in regards to the headline inflation, it calculates the cost to purchase a fixed basket of goods as a way of determining how much inflation is occurring in the broad economy. So what is again another keyword is cost. So here the CPI will calculate the inflation or the index based on the cost of purchase. So here what is also taken into consideration is cost. Cost is also taken into consideration, the cost of purchase of the fixed basket of goods. So you have a basket of goods, which is again very important for economy definition prelims point of view. Cost of purchase, basket of goods, and that will determine how the inflation is occurring in the broader economy. So look at it, how the headline inflation is very important for prelims point of view, that we have come across the keyword, that is the consumer price index, Bureau of Labor Statistics, cost of purchase, basket of goods, and then broad economy. So these are the areas wherein you need to keep on focusing, and I'm saying it, you as a civil servant aspirant, you need to think out of box. Your preparation, your thinking and preparation has to be out of box. That means the way others do not think, you have to think. Only then you will crack the service. You will be in the top 50, top 100 or top 10. And this is how you need to focus. Many of them might think that this kind of preparation is too much. No. Until unless you identify or emphasize the keywords and the key phrases, it will be very tough. But once you get in the mode of identifying the keywords and the key phrases, not only in the newspaper but in all the subjects of the standard textbooks, you will be thinking out of the box. You will be preparing out of the box. You will be writing your prelims, or you will sit in the prelims examinations as a mindset out of the box. You will be writing your mains in the examination hall, writing the answers out of the box. And you will be in the interview giving the answers as out of the box. Out of box. And you will be in the final list. You will be in the final list of the selected candidates because you are out of the box. Your thinking is out of the box. And this is what the strategy is. And I re-emphasize this. And this is how you need to go ahead with your preparation. Yeah, that means Ashwini, they are also calculates the cost. But generally, inflation is what? the price which you are actually going at. That is headline inflation that is calculated. And in regards to the question for the mains, again I have taken in regards to the education, which there is a possibility that the question might be framed in regards to the NEP advocates. So the National Education Policy is advocating what? Equitable and inclusive education. These two keywords are very important for you for the prelims as well as mains examination, and this will be also very useful for you for the general essay. So the National Education Policy 2020 is advocating, is pushing for, is actually representing, or it is wanting that equitable and inclusive education, but with no mention of common school curriculum. This is very important. The National Education Policy advocates equitable and inclusive education with no mention of common school curriculum. Even the proposal to impart education in the mother tongue, even to impart the education in the mother tongue is open-ended. So these will certainly broaden inequalities. There is a positive statement here, there is a negative statement here. There is a positive statement. What is the positive statement here? The national education policy advocates equitable and inclusive education. But the negative is without the positive is equitable and inclusive. The negative is without the common school curriculum and the mother tongue. The proposal of imparting the mother tongue in the mother tongue is open-ended. That means it is up to the state, up to the region, and up to the student in regards to the mother tongue. So will this certainly broaden inequalities? So we are talking about whether this will broaden the inequalities. So you have to comment on this. So you have to look at whether NEP will really focus on equitable and inclusive, or it will broaden the iniquities, not inequality, iniquities. So this is a very important question for general essay, education topic. So we have discussed, when we try to recap. So in regards to economy, we have discussed, which is again very important for prelims. Again, this is in regards to the current affairs we have discussed here. And then India rejects, again in regards to the IR, the kind of the rupture of what is happening between India and China in regards to J&K. And in regards to again science and technology, we have discussed in regards to various key phrases. And inflation, again in regards to the economy, we have discussed. So we have discussed at length for prelims as well as, so entire discussion was both for prelims as well as mains examinations extensively. So I hope my session was informative, knowledgeable for both prelims and mains examination for UPSC and State Public Service Commissions. So I would thank you and I would say good luck to all of you. And in that good luck, I would also just read one thing: giving up must be not on your list. So do not give up. Do not give up. So giving up must not be on your list. Remove it from your vocabulary. So you should never give up. You should never give up. Never give up. So that you will have no choice but to keep on moving. So never give up. Keep moving. Keep moving. When I'm saying keep moving positively. Keep moving positively, and never give up, keep moving positively, or all this, the attributes of successful people, or the attributes of successful people, or the attributes of successful people. So thank you and good luck. And then before you sign off, please do like, share, and then subscribe the AKS IAS Academy YouTube channel, that is Advanced Knowledge System, and do visit the aksias.com website, and also subscribe the t.me aks.ias telegram link channel. And then see you tomorrow again at 7:30 a.m. Extremely sorry. See you tomorrow at again 7:30 a.m., which I would again come up with the daily news analysis. And what I would never miss it is maintain consistency, and then stick to your schedule, and then take care of your physical health and mental health. And then see you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Okay, Malesh has joined. Very good morning to you, Malesh. So thank you, and then good luck. See you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. And I would say a very big thank you to everyone. Thank you all.